Since it is 6 o'clock, if you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, there's the little flag for you.
Oh, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion or is there any changes?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second,
I'll second the motion.
all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, next is public comment, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Who would like to go first? Brad, you're muted. You're muted, Brad. You're still muted.
You can type in the messages in the chat box.
Well, while he's getting ready, would anybody else like to go first?
This is
Okay.
unusual.
Thank you, Ken. Go ahead. You're muted as well, Ken.
Can
Thank you.
you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Great.
Thank you, commissioners. Over the last couple of weeks, I've sent you a few emails and just want to refresh your memories. Thursday, April 21st, I sent an email regarding the Arborist Report and compliance issues with the 1997 grant on the Schindelheim property. And I asked that you direct the Salmon Group to cease and desist with grant requests until the matter could be investigated. Then last Sunday, April 24th, I left you a voice message regarding the no trespass order against me and asked for a phone call to discuss that. That didn't happen. And I again asked that a hold be put on the grant applications and letters of support. Then last Tuesday, April 26th, the day after the Board of County Commissioner briefing, I sent you Port Commissioners and the Board of County Commissioners an email to be recognized as official correspondence. As you are well aware, last August, I contacted Mr. Merrill, your security officer, and reported the garbage that is definitely on Port property. I was blown off by your executive director. 2 months ago, I found hazard trees, flagged them, offered to fall them at no charge. Instead of a thank you, I got a certified letter from Mr. Coppola banning me from the property. Per that letter, I'm asking for written permission to enter the property, and I would like all three of you commissioners individually, so it's not a conflict with OPMA, to be my escort. You can even bring Mr. Brogan. I would like to show you all the liabilities, the threats, and the compliance issues I have discovered. In my opinion, your executive director and two of you are not doing your due diligence and fiduciary responsibilities. Thank you, respectfully.
Thank you, Ken. Okay, Brad, you're next.
Hi, yeah, good evening. I don't know what happened the first time. For some reason, the audio just wasn't feeding through, so I got out, logged back in, and it seemed to work just fine. Anyway, good evening, commissioners. Okay, basically, in our 3 minutes tonight, I'd like to make sure, as you know, the director in his report, Larry Coppola, has placed in his report that he's pursuing with counsel to figure out how he can litigate against Ken and myself for, working with the county, requesting that they, withhold funding until certain litigation is resolved. Well, having said that, it's been in his report month after month. So what I want and what Ken wants as well is we want assurance from the port that they're not going to litigate against Ken and I or anybody for that matter while we exercise our First Amendment right to petition our government. We've held off and been pretty much handicapped from doing our due diligence with both our state legislatures as well as our county at notifying them that the port's in litigation, that the port's in violation of the consent requirement to purvey water and contract it out, and also the misappropriation of those public funds. We feel the port is spending taxpayer revenue to subsidize the ratepayers' connection fees and monthly usage. So we want assurance from the port that we can go out and exercise our First Amendment right and, complain, notify, alert, put on notice our state and local public officials. So that's the first thing. So can we get that assurance? And I'll wait till after I'm done with my public comment to hear that. That's the first thing. So what's happening is we believe that the port is using violation of the Public Records Act to withhold documents from us seeing these violations that are going on. We believe that the port is violating the Open Public Meetings Act as well, so we can't hear these violations going on. And then we all seen the port mute our conversation in public comment. So they're using 3 different violations of law to conceal the other 2 violations of law, which is the consent requirement and the misappropriation of public funds. So I've got one last, how much more time do I have?
25 seconds, 24
25
seconds.
24 seconds. Okay. I would like to see or hear from the port after my public comment how much money they've spent on defending the litigation that I filed against the port. And then also, why they didn't take the offer of settlement for admission, apology, and the $10,000 monetary penalty that we asked them to pay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll respond to that, Chairwoman,
Well,
in a way that's appropriate. When it's okay, when everybody's done, because I want to respond to him. He asked for a response. It's very short.
okay, go
All
ahead.
right. Yeah, just real quick. It basically, we cannot speak to the lawsuit you filed. So and what you want, we can't. It's inappropriate. So it's not going to happen. And that's my answer to that.
What are you responding to?
That's all my comment is. To your comment.
What part of, so I don't understand your comment to my,
Right. You
what is
don't. It's for the record. You can replay the video if you want. I'm just saying we can't speak to the lawsuit you filed, sir. You can't
Oh,
speak
no,
to
we're
that.
not, first of all, but you can talk about
I'm
settlement when
not
you come out
going
of your
to.
executive session.
Well, I'm not here to get into that. I'm just communicating that that's why I'm being quiet about it, and that's why you're not being ignored. We're certainly making note of everything that your concerns are and everything you've been doing with regards to that, and we can't speak to that matter, sir.
But are you going to give Ken and I assurance that we can petition our government officials
You can do that anytime you want. There's
without the litigation from the port?
Well,
We
what do you
can't-
need assurance?
we can't
You don't need
reassure
assurance. You don't need assurance from anything. Just do your due diligence and we'll do ours and we'll work through this. And I'm not going to speak to it any further. It's
But
simple.
in the director's report, he put in there that they were pursuing litigation, all avenues
Well,
to
he's
figure
gonna
out how they could litigate.
I've read the same report and I'm glad that we know about the report, and he has another one for us tonight. Thank you.
Larry?
So is it
I'd
okay
like
for
to-
Ken and
I'd
I
like
to go
correct
pursue
Mr.
our
Carey.
public officials?
We didn't
Is that
say
okay?
that we were going to
Excuse me.
pursue litigation. We said we would explore the possibility of it.
Yes.
Right, so you're putting us on notice.
He's
Are
just
we
telling you the
free to
truth.
go ahead?
Well,
Is that a yes or a no?
I think it's time to move on, Mr.
Yeah, it
Chairman.
is time to move on. You spoke
Yeah.
you had your time, sir, and you asked for a response. I gave you what my response was, and I thought
Right.
that was genuinely appropriate and courtesy to you. Thank you. All right, Chairwoman,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
you work for us though, so.
Thank you,
To anybody.
Chairwoman. I work for 9,000 different people besides just you, sir. Okay,
That's what I
Chairwoman,
just said.
you've
I
had your
just said
time,
that.
sir. Chairwoman,
I just
Okay.
said, wait, I just said that. You're not listening. Mr.
Um,
Sheridan, I just said you work for everybody. In other words, when you extend the courtesy, it's to everybody. You
Okay,
okay,
understand
Brad,
that?
you've
We're
had your
done.
3 minutes. We're not hearing a
Okay.
dialogue right now.
One last thing, Madam Chairwoman, I'm going to make a recommendation that the port seriously consider dissolving
His time
itself.
is up.
And the
Yeah.
reason I say that,
His time
that
is up.
is
You're
because
being
the port,
rude.
You're being
Brad,
I'm not
rude.
being rude, I'm
being
just
His time is
speaking.
up.
because we
I'm
have
just
other
speaking.
people on this, and we have business to conduct. We've
Okay.
heard your complaints.
All right.
You
I
can
haven't heard from
certainly
Ted Jackson.
ask the
Is
questions.
there any idea when we're going to have these in live meetings where we can actually show up at a meeting?
Well, we were going to, and we were trying, but we had some staff out due to illnesses, and your public records requests keep us pretty busy. So we're going to move on.
Okay,
Now
well,
let's
thank you.
move
Have
on
a good
to
night,
the
everybody. Thank you for your
consent
time.
agendas.
Good night.
We have consent agendas. We have the approval of the regular meeting minutes of April 4th. Has everybody had a chance to look at it?
Yeah, Chairperson,
Yes.
was there any more public comments? I hate to go back.
Oh, well, I don't see a hand raised. Is there anybody else? I'm sorry. I see one other person, Tara Landsberger. Do you
Okay.
have anything? Brett, Jeff?
I
see
just
no
want
other
to
hands.
address Mr. Van Buster's concerns over the property. Last week, I spent 18 hours on the road to Montana, and I gave it a lot of thought. Since right now we have our property and Mr. Van Busker recognized the hazardous trees and we posted it no trespassing, I don't feel comfortable having people up there. I know Mr. Van Busker is very comfortable in the woods. I just don't feel like having the public up there in case something were to happen. Since we've identified a hazard, we know there's a hazard up there. Until we get that addressed, I don't feel comfortable having people up there, I don't feel comfortable inviting people up there. I did hear that there were some people running around up there this weekend. And, we're not going to be able to, just because we put signs up, keep everybody out. But if we're going to start inviting people up, let's wait till the trees are knocked down. We're assured that the trees are, the ones that are still standing are safe. And then if we want to take walks and we could do that, I don't have a problem. But right now we've identified it as a hazard area and let's keep it such until we get it cleaned up. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Jackson.
I concur with the commissioner there totally.
Yeah, thank you very much. I don't see any other hands raised. So moving on, can we go on to the consent agenda item of the approval of the regular meeting minutes of April 4th?
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of April 4th, 2022.
Okay,
And
second.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Now we have regular action items, general fund vouchers, payroll vouchers, water fund vouchers, and approval of the digital signatures on all documents. So who would like to read those items and then make a motion?
I'll go ahead. Item A, approval of general fund voucher 22-050-1001 to 22-020-1024 for $13,797.89. Payment B, payroll vouchers number 22-050-2001 to 22-05-02009 for $20,566.80. Action item C, payment of water fund vouchers number 22-020-3001 to 22-050-3003 for $363.09. And action item D, approval of the use of digital signatures for all documents approved at this meeting.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye,
I was assuming, Ted, that you did make the motion, correct?
Yes,
he did.
Okay. All right. Commissioners' reports. Who would like to go first?
Oh, sorry. I'll go first, I guess. On April 4th, I attended the regular meeting for the minutes that we just approved. And on the 19th of April, I attended via Zoom our transit authority, Mason County Transit Authority, special and regular meeting combined. And that's all I have.
Okay, Ted?
I attended the general meeting and then the PRPTO meeting. And I also want to give a shout out, I guess as a port commissioner, but somebody who used the Port of Allyn facility for an event 2 Fridays ago or Friday and a half ago. And just want to thank the staff. Don was instrumental in making it a fun event. I had so many people from the Shelton area who just hadn't had time to spend up at the Port of Allyn, and they very much appreciated the setting, how clean the area was, and I just had a lot of compliments that I want to pass on.
Great. Ted, I have a question at the PRTPO. There was a grant that was supposed to, or a grant cycle, and I've been kind of keeping up with some of that some of this grant that was supposed to come up, there weren't any submissions. So do you know what those grants are about? And is this something that maybe the port could do? Is there projects?
I'm glad you brought that up, but yes, there is a grant, and since these emails, I'm having problems with Tara ending up in my junk mail. I do have grants that can be submitted by August, and I'll get that information to the executive director so he could get it out to everybody else.
Great. Okay, super. Was your event on the 23rd for United Way?
Gosh darn, it's been so long. I think it was on the 22nd, the Friday, the 2nd.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I could have gone. So anyway, I went to the regular port meeting as well. I missed the EDC meeting because I was getting my eyes done. I can see, yippee. And but on April 16th, went to a Department of Natural Resource camp host training. I'd like to encourage anybody who's interested in hosting campgrounds. There's training out there for you. And then on the 23rd, that's why I couldn't go to the United Way one, there was Earth Day for the Tahuya Forest Cleanup Day. And we staged at Oak Patch Lake, which is off of Effendall Pass. I usually feed everybody, and there were about 60 to 70 participants. It was
Wow.
rocking. It was so cool. So I would really like to encourage anybody. And the Tahuya Forest, part of that is my district. And I've always had a warm spot for the Tahuya Forest, but it was just fantastic. And speaking of cleanups, Mark Wodowich, who was the gentleman who did our video for the opening of the Sargent Oyster House, he's starting to get the word out there to go clean up the forests as well. So he's trying to work with DNR and everything. So I'd like to encourage everybody to get out there and help clean up the forest. As you know, and Ted, you would know, with COVID and everything, the forests are being used so much more. So there's so much more junk that people dump because they don't know. So it was really encouraging to see how many good people were out there, and it was fantastic. So anyway, thank you very much.
That's wonderful, Commissioner. That really is cool.
It was great. Okay, security officers report, Larry?
Yes, during the month of April, the Bay has experienced an historically abnormal amount of sea lion presence in the North Bay area. For the last few weeks of the month, they've inundated the pier area with no access for boats to moor. No incidents to report due to the sea lion traffic, yet the dock is starting to sustain some damage due to their presence. April 22nd, 9:30 through 10 a.m. through 10:30 p.m. 9:30 p.m. through 10:30. Upon arriving at the Allyn waterfront for nightly gate closure, a 2000s white Chevrolet Silverado, truck license number Washington number B75840T, was stuck in Barry Betzinger's yard. Barry was outside with the driver. The driver smelled strongly of alcohol and appeared intoxicated. I quietly reminded Barry that it would not be wise at this point to help him get unstuck. We agreed that I would slip away and notify law enforcement. While making the call to Mason County Sheriff, the driver spoke to Barry about being worried about being deported for his immigration status. He fled the area on foot before the Mason County Sheriff arrived. Once Mason County Sheriff arrived, I relayed my observations and left the scene of the incident. They said they would look around town for the driver and call a tow truck for the impounding of the vehicle. And that is the security officer's report.
Okay, next is the executive director's report. Larry?
Right, let me get that up here. Here we go. Financial issues, revenues and expenses are performing as expected for this time of year. We're taking bookings for both weddings and moorage for the summer months. This month's budget versus actual report is included in your meeting packet. We do have ongoing expenses related to the booster pump and the new well, but these come out of the water fund, not the general fund. Water system issues. I sent a letter to the Mason County Commissioners reducing our SEDS request for this project, or for the well project, from $500,000 to $100,000. However, there's a new set of hoops we have to jump through for the federal government, and we're just now navigating that maze. We should have the bid specs for the new well soon. We can get this out, so we can get this out to bid. Our goal is to have it up and running by year's end. Nothing's happened on the possible acquisition of Jeff Carey's water system. We're awaiting a decision from the Department of Health on a temporary variance for a sewer line, and that's been the holdup for the whole thing. Damage claims. I turned the claim into Honduras for the storm damage on the Finger Pier and called Marine Floats, same company that built the replacement dock, got an estimate on the repairs. Honduras accepted their time and material quote, and they have fixed the dock. However, the adjuster on the wire theft portion of the claim was pretty lax in getting his part done, so we can get that part of the repairs completed. Excuse me. I lit a fire under Honduras last week and is now moving forward. The electrical contractor is set to have it finished by Friday of this week. Our goal is to have everything done and operable before May 7, the opening day of boating season. We secured the access to the electrical equipment, so it can't be turned off simply by cutting the locks, by enclosing the kiosks, installing steel doors with deadbolts to access the electrical equipment, as well as put stainless steel locks on the equipment inside. There's a stainless steel junction box out on the pier, but we're securing it with deadbolts if possible, just instead of just a padlock as well. Return to in-person meetings. We're hoping to be able to conduct this meeting as a hybrid in-person Zoom meeting. However, due to the fact our staff was out ill off and on all month, combined with meeting the public records request deadlines, we're not able to put the setup together and test it in time to be sure we didn't have any technological glitches. However, we should be able to have this ready to go for the June 6th meeting. Prior to this meeting tonight, I talked to Dedrick a little bit, and he and I are going to get together and do a test run through for this. Security camera issues. The new cameras and equipment have been installed at the North Shore and are up and running, as is the one here in Allyn. However, the two multi-sensor units on back order due to the chip shortage will be installed as soon as we receive them. The vendor is going to research other units with the same capabilities to see if we can get them sooner. Redistricting. We've come up with a plan for redistricting. We have to come up with a plan for redistricting by November. I don't expect we'll see a lot of changes, since it's my understanding the district's population numbers were cut off at December 31st. I reached out to the ports of Shelton and Duato about possibly sharing a consultant. Shelton responded they elected commissioners at large, so no redistricting is necessary. Duato informed me that after they checked with the county auditor and were supposedly able to use the county GIS figures without a consultant. Have a call into the county auditor to get a handle on this process as well, so we may be able to save some money if that'll work. Website updates. Ironically, in spite of all the complaints by a couple of individuals about our website, WPPA is using it as a positive example of how Port website should work in one of its spring meeting sessions this week. We're still looking at other websites for ideas about updating our site for easier navigation and increased functionality. I did have our webmaster install a large button on the opening page for 2022 meeting documents, hoping that will make it easier for those people who seem to have difficulty finding them. Old business. Oyster House. Nothing new to report on the building itself. However, we started looking into the status of the Army Corps permit, hoping to light a fire under someone, but couldn't find where it had actually been submitted. Bill Ray had been totally unresponsive, so I reached out to Art Anderson, the engineering firm that did the design, and asked them who they would recommend to help us look into the status. They recommended geoengineers, and I contacted them. After doing some research, a guy we're working with, the geoengineers, confirmed we do have an Army Corps of Engineers permit number, but apparently Bill Ray may have combined our project with another he was working on. But the consultant said getting that squared away won't be too difficult or time consuming, so we may be able to start moving this forward sooner rather than later. He's hoping to have more good news for me on this coming week. Our goal is to have everything ready so we can get this out to bid and be able to drive pilings during this year's fish window. He also noted our hydraulic permit approval permit for the project from Fish and Wildlife had expired. I asked him to get it renewed and to get a separate one for Hood Canal as well. Bill Ray was named on the Allyn permit as our authorized agent, and Bonnie Knight was the applicant. So we need to get those changed, but that won't be a major big deal either. I reached out to Bonnie and she contacted Fish and Wildlife to get that moving. Our Hood Canal and Allyn facilities are in two different Fish and Wildlife districts, so Hood Canal will be a new permit and Allyn will be a renewal. Excuse me. Kathleen Baranis, the professional grant writer for the Salmon Center, is hired to move this project forward, has come up with a plan for a series of different grants from different agencies to fund this project. Because of the delays in moving this project forward, the cost has more than doubled, which is why the professional grant writer was brought in. The local ISA TRAQ qualified arborist we hired to mark the trees that needed to either be removed and or trim has finished and delivered his report. We then had the tree removal service we've used previously come in and do the work. That is also complete. We're waiting on the surveyor to find and mark the corners so we know what property is ours to clean up. Once that's done, we can move forward with the cleanup. Property will remain closed to the public until the cleanup is finished. RCO has been made aware of the situation and what we're doing to deal with it. In spite of the protests of one person about accessibility to the property, RCO has agreed our actions are both on the right track and totally appropriate. At the March 7 meeting, we discussed setting up a public meeting work session to walk the property with law enforcement, the fire department, as well as the school district and others. I tried to arrange that, but it didn't go together for several reasons. Last month, he told me to do it after the cleanup is finished. However, I found out last week that the Salmon Center will be closing on the Peterson property sometime in either June or July and is working with a volunteer organization to do the cleanup of that parcel. They're willing to clean up ours as well at the same time, but it won't happen until they do Peterson's. The cost to us will be a lot less than having someone come in and just do ours. Until the Peterson parcel is cleaned up, it would be prudent to restrict public access anyway, so I don't see any reason not to wait. Cost of cleaning up the trash on the Peterson site will become part of an in-kind part of the match funding for any grants we receive for the project once they take ownership. Kitsap Allport's meeting. The meeting on April 25th was interesting. We're not the only ones battling the Army Corps permit issue. Port of Brownsville hasn't yet replaced Jack Bailey as a commissioner, but they did name their interim director, Jerry Williams, as the executive director. Criminalization of marina rules, nothing new to report, and that is my report. Happy to answer any questions.
I Who's Jerry Williams? Do you know him?
Yeah, he's the interim or was the interim director there
Mhm.
after the last executive director quit. And he's a good guy. Nice guy, very capable, smart. So, he's I don't think he's comfortable with the political aspects of the job or the suit and tie aspects of the job, but as far as day-to-day management, he's a good guy.
Great. Hope to see him.
Yeah, I'm hoping he's going to be at the WPPA meeting.
Yeah.
So, also, I'd like to say one thing about Mr. Carey's comments. He's going on about how we're violating the law, and he's back to the thing about the water system. He dropped that with prejudice from the lawsuit, so he cannot sue us again over that. And I think you all know we are not having any secret meetings. We're not violating the Open Public Meetings Act. We're not withholding anything from anybody. And it just gets tiresome hearing him accuse us of this and us not being able to defend ourselves because of the lawsuit. So I just want to throw that out there in case anybody's watching. We're not subsidizing the water system. I mean, you get the financial reports, we're not spending money on the water system that the water system doesn't generate. The water system operates in the black. So anyway, that's my story.
I think most everybody understands that, but
I
thank
hope
you,
so.
Larry.
I hope so.
As those that I have spoken with, and my circle's pretty large, that they understand what the port is doing. I don't know if I really want to address anything in regard to him. It's
I wouldn't.
just counterproductive at this point, I think.
I think so.
So we have no new business, but we are to any other questions, commissioners? No?
No.
Okay, so we are at public comment. And I see Ken raising his hand. Go ahead, Ken. You're muted, Ken. There we
Yeah.
go.
Can you hear me, folks?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm surprised you commissioners didn't ask any questions about that Sweetwater thing. Mr. Coppola said those trees were removed.
No, they're not removed yet.
No,
That's what he
ones the
just-
arborist
that's what he
said
just
had
reported.
Were.
Oh, okay,
No,
sorry.
they haven't been.
Well, how would you know that?
You can see one of them right from the road, that weeping willow. And you can see another snag from the edge. So commissioners, you need to go in there and see what is going on. Those trees have not been removed. And he just told you they had been.
Well, that's what the contractor that we hired to do the work, he called me and said he was finished.
Well, did you pay him an invoice?
Not yet.
Did you receive an invoice?
Not yet.
So I guess nobody watched any. Did you go and look at the Arborist report?
Yeah.
He failed. Did you go and look at the trees he identified?
Yes.
Well, you missed a lot. You missed the one with the wedge in it, and you missed the big snag right above the tree with the wedge in it. And Mr. Sheridan, did you know that they're going to take that willow tree down that you like to walk underneath? You folks really gotta get it figured out.
You didn't let me answer a question. Of course, we know that willow's tree's still there. Anyway, we had a
Yeah, but
professional
that
go there.
was in the arborist report to be removed. You can see it from the road. It hasn't been removed.
Okay, I'm glad you're paying attention to that, but we don't have an invoice yet, and it's not over till you know what sings. So we'll basically deal with it when we get the final invoice.
I think
And,
you folks really need to investigate what is going on there.
Well, I sent you an email.
I'm not finished with my comment, sir.
You asked a question, but that's fine. Go ahead, sir.
You also just heard in his report that the the costs regarding those grants have doubled. I don't know what the original cost was, but I looked at the 2021 through 2023 Washington Wildlife Recreation Program, and it lists the Sweetwater Park project at $775,000. So it's doubled to $1.5 million.
Yes.
I think we need to know what those projected costs are and what the delays have been. And why wasn't the public informed of these increases before the comprehensive scheme public meeting last month?
We didn't know at the time.
Sir,
yeah.
let me finish my comments.
I'm just trying to answer your
Let
question.
me finish my comments, please. I'll send these to you in written form so that you can address them at a later time. Why hasn't the public been informed of Warstadt's widening plans and restoration of Sweetwater Creek? You also reported that you found out that the Salmon Center, just last week, you found out that the Peterson, they're going to close on the Peterson property in June or July. Who will be the owner of that property? Who will be the owner of the Schindelheim property? What happens with the ownership if the park is funded? And you also recommended using a volunteer organization to clean up the Peterson parcel and then the Port parcel. There's serious liabilities with that because several of those hazard trees are still there and they need to be mitigated. You folks really have some catching up to do. I will send these in written form so you can address them. Maybe have your attorney look at them, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will double check with both the arborist and the contractor that's supposed to cut the trees and see what the status is. And maybe take a walk up there myself and see. You know, if Mr. Van Buskirk's right, he's got a point, but I'll just take a wait and see position here until I see it with my own eyes.
Yeah, I haven't gone there. I was waiting for all of us to be able to go there, but I'll stop by there and take a look too.
Okay.
Any other public comment? Jeff says no. Bonnie, I see your mouth moving, but you're muted.
Unmute it.
Okay, Bonnie. go
It's technical. I forgot how to do that stuff. Yeah, I don't know what the last report on the sergeant thing was. I'm sorry. I've been in and out of town and sick and not sick, so kind of lost track of everything. Anyway, you know, the outside of the building, the siding and everything is complete, and we're working on windows, and we're going to get together hopefully this week and start sorting what we still need, because we gotten some and some are clean and some are broken, but yeah, it's doing real good.
So where did you get those windows, Bonnie?
I got some off Etsy online.
Oh, okay,
A couple of them.
cool.
And they're holding, they've got 9 more for me, but I have to make sure of the sizes. So I want to get, I've got a difference. Somebody said we had 11 windows and somebody else said we had 13 done. So I need to get down there and find out what we still have and match what's there, make sure there's sets. Does that make sense to you?
Yes,
Patsy helped me pull some out, but we just need to pull them all out, hopefully this week, and I can finalize that. Won't take awful long to get them in if we can find somebody to do it. So
yeah, that'd be great.
yeah, we're making headway. We get that done, we can go along with a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, drive in, then we can start working on the inside. That'd be great.
Yeah, that would
It'd be
be
easier.
yeah.
Yeah, I have a question, Bonnie.
Sure.
If we can get these pilings driven and get the platform built, do you want to move the building before you work on the inside or with the inside finished?
I'd have to ask somebody that knows, but I think we're probably supposed to finish it on land.
Yeah, I think we are.
Easier than getting insurance to work over the water, and
Yeah,
it's the
Okay.
liability of volunteers coming out that would make me really nervous.
Okay, that answers my question.
And
Thank you.
after it's that, you know, after it's pretty much done, we can see if we want to pour the concrete before or after. I would think after, but I'm not sure. I'll just have to ask somebody that's smarter than I am about that one. Makes
that's great. That's great. Thank you, Bonnie. Anything else?
We had a great Easter egg hunt. If you guys didn't know about it, the Allyn Community Association, I mean, it wasn't an Easter egg hunt. It was a visit by the Easter Bunny. And we had like, I don't know, like 100 kids, and they all got baskets and pictures taken with the Easter Bunny. So that was really a fun thing to do. It was very successful.
That's
And we're working
great.
on Allyn Days with the Allyn Community Association and some other projects that you'll be hearing about shortly. That's pretty exciting.
That's
That's a
great.
that's a teaser.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Bonnie.
You bet.
Anybody else for public comment?
You know what?
No?
I am going to make a comment.
Okay,
I think you guys do a good job. From what I've seen, you're honest, above board with everything. You've been fighting a real battle over this last year, and I missed some meetings, and it's like nothing's changed in the whole year.
Yeah.
Same players still badgering you guys, and that just breaks my heart because I know you guys all work hard and give a lot of time. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents in and say, hang in there. It's worth it.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Bonnie.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciated. Okay, anybody else for public comment? No? All right. Hearing none, would we like to close the meeting?
I'd like to just make one comment that after we, speaking directly to the executive director, after you get the invoice and you have communication with the work that got done up there, then I'll follow up after that and then go up there and revisit the property. Then I know what they're saying as opposed to, what I'm seeing, and I'm not doing anything. I'm not guessing anything, So
Let you and I go together.
I'd like that very much.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'd like to go. I'll go there too.
All
Hey,
right.
could I
just,
come
just-
along? Could I come along, please?
I'm not comfortable with that.
I don't see a problem with it. If it wasn't for Mr. Van Buster, we wouldn't have identified these trees. So I don't see a problem with it. I'll be more than happy to walk it again. I've walked it several times. And I'll be more than happy to walk it again. But I am concerned that if an arborist is saying that the job is done, he should be detailing each one of those trees that were removed, the species of tree. And I don't know where he's hauling them off to because he can't get a large enough vehicle between the ecology blocks to haul them off, or is he just deadfalling them right there? And so I'll be more than happy, but I don't have a problem with Mr. Van Buster working it.
Yeah,
So-
I just want to see, I just want to get some communication from the executive director when he talks to them about the work they did before I go there. And I don't know, maybe they're going the back way, Commissioner Jackson. There's another way in there. I
I
walked
think
around.
he was bringing a chipper.
Okay, but can you fill us in on that, Mr. Cole, and we'll know what's going on.
I have a question in regard to this because I haven't been there. These hazardous trees, are they threatening buildings? Or anything like that?
There's no
Not on
building.
the,
Or
not on
property
the
damage?
Fork property.
Not on
It
our
would just be personal. I mean, it'd be human
Right.
damage if somebody got on there
And
Yeah,
that
and a
is
tree
if
decided
somebody,
to fall.
and that is if somebody was walking on there, which they're not supposed to at this point. They
But-
will. This is
yeah.
process, you all
Yeah,
know. this
people
is a
go in there.
process.
People will go in there.
Pardon me, there are some trees that are threatening the school district.
For buildings?
Yes,
What
And
buildings are
improvement.
they?
the elementary school and the fence by
which-
the elementary school.
Which part of the elementary school?
The portion next to where the gardens are.
Okay,
There's trees there. There's also some trees up by their little amphitheater and the remote site incubator.
okay.
And
have they-
that property was supposed, when it was acquired by a grant, it was supposed to be kept open for public access. That's
Sure.
part of the
We're well aware of that.
long-term maintenance agreement.
Yes, we're aware.
And it's
I'm
been
aware
shut
of that.
down. It's been shut down for a long time now.
It's all
And
in
it hasn't,
process, though.
it hasn't been mitigated. So I
Again,
look forward to walking with you. Please let me know when I can come.
okay,
So I think we're all in agreement. Let's see what the Arborist report has to say. The executive director could tell us, and then
Yeah.
we can move on from there.
Yeah, I sent you all a copy of the Arborist report.
Yeah, but
Saw the
actual-
Arborist report. I didn't see his final, if he said he, or she said they removed the trees or not, so.
No, the arborist didn't do that. It was the contractor, but I'll
Okay.
talk to him. I'll be talking to him in the morning.
Great.
So as soon as I know something, I'll let you all know.
okay.
All right.
Move to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
All
Aye.
right. Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you.